You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got your latest early edition spoilers for the week of December 11th through 15th on Young and Restless. I'm excited to unpack these for you. There's big stuff happening in all the front burner storylines. We're going to dig in, but if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates, spoilers, and news. All right. By now, you should have seen Monday and Tuesday's episodes at least. Real quick, I'm going to run through some spoilers just lightly through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just to give you some context for what is going on next week. On Wednesday, we have kind of a random thing where Lily Winters is opening up to Nick Newman. It seems kind of random, but that could be fun if for some reason this was the beginning of something, if Daniel strays back to Heather. And second, I just wonder if she's going to be talking to him about Heather and Daniel because he's been dealing with stuff with Nick, Adam, and Sally. Of course, she knows that. Everybody knows that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. These are two characters that aren't in a lot of scenes alone together. Like, I'm stretching my brain to even think the last time I've seen them in the same room, much less in a conversation. So I'm looking forward to it. And of course, Lily should be leaving really soon because her baby is due any day now. She is like right at 40 weeks. She's had her shower. She's had everything. And she hasn't announced that she's had the baby yet, but she may have had and just is being private about it. So at any second now, we may only have a few weeks left of her because of her maternity leave. So look for that. We also have Victor really worried about Nikki's addiction and sobriety on Wednesday. Not surprising because she is back at the ranch and guzzling vodka when people are not looking. Why do you have a pile of liquor in the living room when there's an alcoholic in the house anyway? That just shouldn't be there. And second of all, when she's just been through this trauma and was reintroduced to alcohol, Victor should have called ahead and told the staff, pour out all the bottles of booze, get rid of the wine, or lock it all up in a room that, only I have the key to. Something like that. I don't think that they are taking very good preventative care of Nikki in the wake of what happened to her in Oregon. Tucker tries to recruit Nate on Wednesday, and it's going to go pretty well, especially with Audra pushing it along just because Nate was told that he was going to get a chance to come back to CW, and it seems like it is kind of hitting the skids. So Tucker's just trying to recruit everybody. He's just trying to stage a coup against everything in town, I feel like. All right, on Thursday the 7th, Lily is in crisis and Devon helps her, and maybe this is the beginning of whatever storyline is going to take her out of Genoa City to cover her maternity leave. Billy updates Jack, and it's a disturbing thing. I do wonder if he's going to tell him that Jill is pressing him to leave Jabot and come over to Chancellor Winters to help her fight this battle against Mamie, who's being bankrolled by Tucker. And Tucker takes the opportunity later this week to stir up the drama between Jill and Mamie, as if that pot needed any stirring. Those ladies do not like each other, not one bit. On Friday the 8th, Danny is planning a romantic night with Christine, and I don't care. I know that sounds terrible. I'm giving you the spoiler because it exists, but I'm just not enthused. He wrote this story for her about Hawaii on my mind. That's a throwback to their wedding. That's great. Go to Hawaii. Take her on a romantic weekend and just don't come back. And that way, if they don't come back, then we don't have to worry about Y&R going into this horrible love triangle deal of Phyllis, Christine, and Danny. And just for the record, and I did a standalone video on this, and you can kind of check it out. It was actually about why Phyllis should not have anything to do with Danny, why she should pursue Nick. I will link it at the end. But realistically, my feeling is that there's no love triangle to revive. They never had a great love, Phyllis and Danny. He only ever married Phyllis because she lied and said she was pregnant. There was no great love there. There was no real love triangle. The only real love triangle back in the day was Paul and Danny and Christine. Phyllis was just constantly interloping and making trouble. So I hate that Josh Griffith is trying to sell us on the idea of a love triangle when one never existed before, and we certainly don't need one now, and Danny's clearly not interested in her. So Phyllis may try and mess up their romantic night, but with this whole thing. Michael surprises Phyllis on Friday, and I wonder what it is. I love Michael and Phyllis whenever they spend time together. And Ashley is forced to stand up to Billy and Jack. This has got to be about Tucker. You know, Billy's been worried about her ongoing interactions with the guy, and with good cause. We also saw this week that Victoria and Cole went to Oregon to talk to Claire and to get her to agree to a DNA test, and she did. And that's going to lead into action happening December 11th through 15th. These are not dated. This is just general info that's happening next week. We're going to get more of Claire Grace drama next week. If she's not back in Genoa City by this week, definitely next week. They're going to get the DNA test done, and they promised her their help, even if she's not their daughter, but she absolutely is their daughter. It's going to prove she is Eve Nicole Howard. The child they were told died back in like 98, late 98, I think was the year. I don't think it was 99. I think it was 98. And, you know, Claire is just a sad, lost little girl who needs decent family right now. But most of the family hates her and thinks she's just like this personal terrorist, specifically Nikki and Victor. And we're going to see next week more of Nikki continuing her descent back into the dark throes of alcoholism. This week, she's already been drinking behind Victor's back. I expect more of it next week. And I expect that Claire's going to be back in town soon, probably into this week, into next week. And that's going to just push everything to the edge. And Nikki might even go on a drunken bender out of anger and fear and frustration. And as Nikki spirals, Victor is going to get more enraged at Claire and at Victoria for shielding the girl, getting her out of jail, trying to get charges dropped, stuff like that. In the wake of this, I don't see Victoria being able to keep her job at Newman because they're going to see her as taking sides against the family because they don't see Claire's family at all. And we do have upcoming scenes of Nick back at work at Newman alongside Adam with Victor. Victoria is not in the picture, literally, so maybe she is out of the picture. Not only because of her parents' anger, but because she needs to spend time helping Claire recover. This is deep psychological trauma that's been done to her over 2.5 decades. So I'm sure Adam is going to be stunned to hear about this Oregon nightmare. I wonder if he's just going to blanket side with Victor because that's what Victor expects. But I tend to think that Adam may be more understanding than his dad is. I mean, she targeted Nikki, who's constantly targeting Adam. You know, that whole saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. Look for more Sharon and Summer and Chance action, more on the unwatchable storyline of Christine and Danny acting like teenager and Phyllis simmering. I also wonder what's going on with Nate and Audra, more of that. And I just wonder if she's going to be using her wiles on Nate, Kyle, and Tucker simultaneously, using them all like minions and pawns. I hope so. She's pretty interesting. We should see some Sally and Adam scenes. I'm excited they're warming back up together. And of course, Nate will continue to fight his uphill battle to get back into Chancellor Winter's more Tucker plotting, Ashley trying to help him while also trying not to fall under his spell again and unintentionally betray her family. That's all I have. I will have more detailed Y&R daily spoilers for you later this week. Thanks for tuning in. Please click subscribe if you haven't already and come back soon, because this is Belinda and I'm here with you talking Y&R 7 days a week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.